So what I wanted to do today was talk about the changing partner paradigm in the marketplace. One of the things that everybody has noticed and everybody's noted recently is the merger of companies, right? And the collision of technologies that's going on in the industry today. What's noted also is that as things move, things have been accelerated. For years, we've been talking about the cloud and what it can do for us. And now we've found ourselves at a tipping point where things are moving along a lot faster. You're seeing mergers among the IT industries at the master agent and distribution level, at the vendor level. And what you got to find is that not only is that being fueled by the cloud, but also it should also have you as a partner looking at your business and what is it that I need to do to compete in that marketplace. So at Comcast, we sit down and we talk about our strategies, how we're going to work with the partner community, how we're going to grow our business. And these are what we call Comcast key beliefs or truths in the marketplace. One, business market evolving towards connectivity. We believe that we're situated pretty well in the marketplace in this area in serving the market. Customers require data and applications. And that's because as the businesses evolve, what's taking place today is that you're finding access to all your information, all your data, whether you're doing supply chain, whether you're doing POS, all those things are accessible a lot quicker and a lot easier. Simplification going on in the industry. Applications are global, right? So as people produce and create applications, they're making and finding themselves in so many different areas. So again, thinking about that as we move forward. One of the things that is something that's noted is, and this was done by IDC, was that Wi-Fi is going to carry more traffic than anything else by the year 2019. So if you're not playing in that marketplace, that's something that you have to take a look at. And that customer experience is core. Customer experience, whether it is at the end user who is using your services, or if you as a partner community with Comcast is getting the experience that you expect in working with us. So these are the key beliefs that the company has. And I'm going to talk about what's driving that and what we've seen in the industry, as well as how we're approaching our business as we move forward. So if you take a look at what business was only a couple of years ago, there weren't necessarily silos, but there was just very systematic approaches to the business. So if you were a phone vendor or if you were in the phone business, everything aligned there. If you were in cable TV, it was video streaming applications, and it was all resided in one area. So what you're finding is that in each segment, people operated in those segments, whether it was a Comcast, whether it was a voice provider. So what we believe is happening, what's triggered all this movement, is obviously the cloud, where applications now reside in the cloud outside of the on-premise products or services that are being provided out there. So it's not just about software anymore, where you're driving a piece of hardware with software. It's really about everything. And it's about business process reengineering. So as an example, you take your local pizza shop. Previously, they had a station for the POS services. They would work with the supplier, and they would reach out to the supplier and order their products. They would put advertisements in newspapers, and they would put coupons out there and available out to the customer base. Well, the pizza shop owner of today now has the ability to, through an app on their phone, to create a coupon that they can make adjustments to on a daily basis or minute by minute according to what they want to do. They can change their menu just by going on their phone and saying, hey, I want to add sausage to my pizza ingredients. So there's a number of things that they can do. But not only that, through their phone or through their apps, they can reach their supply chain. They can go order the extra dough that's necessary for all the sales that they're going to create with their new advertising. They can tie all of that back together. And that's because of the power of the cloud and the power of the apps being in the cloud, making it capable for the end user, making it capable for the user to create and generate their own solutions as they move forward in the marketplace. So as we move forward, Comcast sees it two ways. There's only two things. It's the application, right, and the data network that it rides on, right? Because as long as you have access, as long as you have availability, you'll be able to get everything that you need. Cloud-based voice services, right? Business operations functionality. All that is now riding in the cloud, whether it's a Microsoft 365 or a hosted voice product. And what you need are data circuits to run it along. So that's where our focus is. That's where Comcast drives most of its business to. So what does that mean to our partner community? Well, the changes that we see happening in the partner marketplace is significant, and there's a couple reasons why. Number one is that the partner community, whether it's in the IT space, whether it's in the Pro AV space, whether it's in our agent community, they're now going into selling different services in order to support their customer base, okay? And this is driven by the end user wants and needs. The end user is looking for an end-to-end solution. So previously, when you work with your partner, or excuse me, when you work with your end user, you would sit there and you say, hey, I'm selling this to you, your telecom services, and that's it. Maybe you go into a different area, but the opportunity today, the opportunity going to the future for all our partner communities out there is the ability to sell an end-to-end solution, starting off with the applications, then selling the cloud services, then selling the managed services in support of that. And this is the available market to you today. This by no means means that the opportunity still doesn't exist in the traditional agent marketplace or in the traditional IT. But what we know is that the growth opportunity really lies in the opportunity of being capable as a partner across technologies and not necessarily in depth in a service. So what I'm talking about specifically is if you are selling cloud services, if you are selling application services, if you have the ability to sell telecom services, you have a bigger opportunity to get into your customer and become that trusted partner. The more you're able to provide services and in-depth and show that you've got in-depth knowledge of their industry is really important. So as an example, as you take a look at what's happening, new word, verticalized solutions applied addressing end user needs. What that means is if you're in the financial services space, understanding what regulations that might be out there, what geographical challenges there might be, or technical challenges that might be there, to be able to sit down with your customer and have an intelligent conversation about their business is going to be the difference maker, right? You cannot just say, hey, you're trying to sell on-premise security, you need X bandwidth, right? What you want to understand is what the whole security ecosystem is about so that you can help them solve problems, right? So whether it's in human resources, whether it's in financial services, hospitality, medical, or a number of different vertical markets, becoming knowledgeable of that marketplace is going to be critical for a growth company. And again, this is not the only way to do it. This is just a way we're sure it's going to work for our partner community. Right? So the knowledge and skills have to be wide across what the technology needs are for the industry. All right, again, if we look at what you need from a security perspective, what is it? How do you layer it? What's going to be important from an on-premises perspective to a, on the internet perspective? There are a number of different ways that you have to be able to approach it, and you should be having conversations with your customers about that. Then, again, being deep in an industry, right? That doesn't afford you the ability to have 20 different, 30 different providers who might be in the carrier space, right? Being able to select a smaller number of providers, becoming more knowledgeable of what they're able to do, what their focus is, what their growth path is going to make you better at doing your job for your customers. Okay. So the partner opportunity shifts from providing multiple vendors. So As an example, there's a lot of opportunities out there to carry 60, 80 different carrier services, 1,000 different hosted IP phone services. The question is, are you going to be knowledgeable enough in all those areas to clearly articulate the value proposition that that vendor brings to you, right? And are you able to, through that process, really address their needs in that particular environment, in that industry? So the opportunity is there for you to focus on few providers in each segment, and then verticalize your solutions according to what your customer may need. So if it's a legal practice, what do you need to understand about their business? What is it that they need to do their job? That's the approach that we think that's going to work for our partner community out there. And then selecting the right partners. I'm not suggesting that there's going to be a single vendor out there that can provide you all the services that you need. But if you choose 3 to 4, 5 to 6, a smaller or a handful of vendors to really work with so that they understand your business and understand the markets that you're going in so that they can support you and do your job better. That's the way and that's the approach that we see and the opportunity around value-added services. Now, these are all old positioning statements, but they really apply today because the market change has really driven a lot of this. So I'm going to do the Comcast commercial now. So as you take a look at the various carriers that you have out there, why would you choose Comcast? Why would you choose us as one of the different products offerings in our category of services? Well, we have the largest fiber network and the largest cable network in the world, right? No one provides more miles than Comcast. We also handle more data than any network in the world. There are over close to 40 terabytes of data that's carried over the Comcast, 40 terabytes of data per second that's carried over the Comcast network today. The closest to that is Verizon, and they're about 20 terabytes per second. So you know that our backbone, our services are pretty significant out there, right? We're a Fortune 50 company, right? So the company itself is very, very healthy. And you know that we can provide the financial support and the investments that will continue to allow us to grow our business in support of what you guys are doing, right? So our network is very key to what we do, the number of customers we're able to support and the number of areas we're able to get to with our network. The other thing that we do is we invest. And this is specifically for Florida and what we're doing, but in 2016, Comcast will spend about $1.2 billion of building out its fiber network. That investment is probably double of the next vendor out there. In 2017, we'll be spending about $1.8 billion in building out our fiber network. Part of it is what we call business as usual, but a good part is additional investment that we're making to build out our Ethernet services throughout the country. So we see the opportunity for growth with us is right in these areas where we're already strong, we'll continue to invest. And that's something that Comcast does and will continue to do over the course of the foreseeable future. So if you were to take a look at us and take into account some of the things I talked about the shifting paradigm, about what's happening in the marketplace, the drivers that are out there, we think that we're a good fit for a vendor in the carrier services, in the carrier marketplace. And if you guys aren't selling us today, you should consider us. And if you are selling us, keep buying into what we're doing because we can provide you guys a lot more investment, a lot more support than a lot of other vendors out there. So, wow, I ran through this pretty quick. In conclusion, right, what we've got is, hey, if something can become a data application, it will. Whether it's supply chain, whether it's marketing and advertising, whether it's business operations and business management, you can do that. The cloud always provides new possibilities. Anything that you can think of, anything that a customer can think of, anything that they can use in their business can be and will be moved to the cloud. Okay? Access to the cloud is very, very important. Obviously, the more things go onto the internet, the bigger the bandwidth is needed. And with Comcast, we can provide you anything from 10 gigs all the way down to about 25 megs, depending on the different technologies that we have out there. And then partner upside and growth aligns with broad vertical industry knowledge. And what we mean about that is going back again, understanding that if you're selling in the medical industry, if you're selling into hospitality, really understand what it takes to run a business there and have the intelligent conversation with your customer and not just be selling and pushing bandwidth. Because if you do that, you're going to find yourself doing the same thing, and it's going to be that much more difficult when your competitors out there talking to their customers about their needs and how they can help them grow their business. So that's it for my presentation today. And I hope that this knowledge is beneficial to you. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you very much.